Once you know how to tell the difference between a wood repair bid that is geared to improving aesthetics and one that is meant to improve structural integrity, you may be faced with having to decide between prioritizing one over the other. There isn't a formula or a one-size-fits-all answer to which you should do first. The right answer for you and your specific situation depends on what you want to achieve in the short term. Let me explain the details of what each scope will achieve in the short term in order to help you if you're faced with making a decision of prioritizing one over the other. An aesthetic repair scope like the one you would typically get from a general contractor or a painter will be more extensive work-wise and potentially more dollar-wise than a scope focused on structural repairs only, like one you would receive from a termite inspection. A scope for aesthetic rehab is often drafted without a thorough inspection of structural integrity and focuses on immediate improvement of the overall look of the structure. In these types of scopes, it is common that structural inconsistencies will be patched or filled in with Bondo or a similar product and then primed and painted. The immediate result achieved from an aesthetic repair program from a general contractor would be a prettier building exterior and improved curb appeal, while ignoring potentially some integrity and structural issues. Conversely, a scope for structural repairs is drafted from a thorough termite inspection of your residential structure and focuses on structural problems and inconsistencies only. In these types of scopes, damaged wood members are properly repaired or altogether removed and replaced with new wood members to restore structural integrity to like new conditions in the repaired areas. The immediate result achieved from a structural scope of work drafted after a thorough termite inspection would be the restoration of structural integrity to like new conditions in the areas repaired, while ignoring overall look and curb appeal of the structure. If you are faced with having to decide between implementing one repair program over another, the thing you should consider is what is immediately more important to you, curb appeal or restoring structural integrity. Another thing to take into consideration when having to decide between taking on structural repairs or an aesthetic rehab is how prioritizing one over the other will affect you down the road. Prioritizing one over the other can present problems in the future. Choosing to first perform aesthetic repairs before structural repairs can be problematic in the future because it is possible that a structural inspector will find and undo patchwork that was done as part of an aesthetic repair rehab. Because in an aesthetic repair program, some structural integrity issues are patched over, a structural inspector that inspects the property will likely find and expose patchwork previously performed. Unresolved structural issues, such as patchwork, would be included in the scope of work to properly repair or altogether replace damaged wood members to restore structural integrity. This creates redundancies and unnecessary costs where you would essentially pay to have the same issue addressed twice. Once for an aesthetic lift and then again to regain structural integrity. Choosing to first perform your structural repair work before an aesthetic rehab can potentially be problematic for long-term curb appeal. Your structural repair scope of work should always include priming and painting of new wood members or wood members being repaired. The problem is that areas that are freshly painted as part of a structural repair program will never perfectly match the aesthetics of areas not repaired in rehab. Even when you use the same paint from the same manufacturer, using the exact same paint code, there is always the possibility that new repaired wood members will have a slightly different look next to wood members that have old weathered paint and have been exposed to the elements for a long time. In areas where exposure to the sun and elements, wind or water is extreme, newly repaired and painted wood can look drastically different than the weathered wood members around it, in spite of using the same paint on the new members as the old members. In an ideal situation, you would schedule your structural repairs first to protect the structural integrity of your home, and then immediately follow up with aesthetic cleanup to have all the work done within a short period of time. When planning to perform repairs, be sure to be fully informed so you know what to expect, and in order to be able to avoid surprise expenses. Your home's repair program should be customized to your home's individual needs. Schedule a complimentary inspection online at www.termite.pro.us or contact us at 1-844-GOT-ANTS. For more educational videos about responsible pest control in your home, subscribe to our YouTube channel.